Hi, I'm James Burton. I'm very happy to be here. It's my first instructional videotape with hot licks, and I would like to invite you to come into the studio and let's have some hot licks and work on a few subjects today, and thank you for being with me. Let's go into the studio. Okay, before we go any further, I would like to give you some notes to tune to, and so we can play along together. So I'll give you the E string first. Now I'll give you the B string. And the G string. And the D string. And the A string. And now the E string. I started playing guitar when I was 13, and actually it was the first guitar my parents bought me, my first Telecaster. And I actually recorded my first record when I was 15, Suzuki with Dale Hawkins. And I'll give you an example of that now. First started playing, I played a lot of slide guitar and a lot of bottleneck, and I got into actually playing with the straight pick and a finger pick. And the reason I like that is because in order to play, my first style was like basically country and rhythm and blues is what I basically grew up on, started with. And in order to play that style, I would use a straight pick so I could just pick down and have the finger pick picking up, so I could create the sound between the country and the rhythm and blues. One of my first influences was Chet Atkins, and in the rhythm and blues field was people like Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, and Lightning Hopkins. And I took basically the two styles to get that little feel going with the finger pick and the straight pick. And it works real good for me because I'm able to move as fast as I'd like to go, you know. My technique with the straight pick and the finger pick also use my other fingers as well. And I can do it in the way of like with the rhythm feel with the lead going as well at the same time with the rhythm feel. And I'll give you an example of that. I play a lot of steel guitar licks, and I feel that there's two ways. The older way that more or less is playing with slides, and this is an example of that. I use that an awful lot. You know, it's a different sound, it's a different feel for playing the actual steel guitar bends. I use that an awful lot. You know, it's a different sound, it's a different feel for playing the actual steel guitar bends. The other way, it's just a different sound for me, and to bend the notes. When I actually do some bends, the finger next to the finger doing the actual bend, you'll notice will actually support that bend. For example. have your second finger and your third finger that actually supports each other in those bends. Back in the early days, I would say around 1957, actually did some recording with a guy named Ricky Nelson. And I actually joined his band in 1958. And some of the earlier recordings we did, like Poor Little Fool and Hello Mary Lou and That's All Right, Little Mama, we did that. That was similar. We did a lot of things like very similar to the Elvis style. And I used a lot of rhythms. I guess you probably know in the earlier days we didn't have a lot of electronics to use to get a lot of the effects. So when I was playing guitar, I would listen to records and I could hear these sounds that it was foreign to my ear, and I just got to thinking, how could I do that? You know, I didn't know it was an electronic device. So I sat down with my guitar after hearing certain records that this sound was on, and it was like an echo effect. And I sat down with my guitar, and I just came up with this rhythm feel to create this actual sound that I'll just demonstrate this for you now. That was, to me, sort of an echo effect. And you could use more reverb or less if you like. But that was basically how I came up with that little echo sound there. Actually, that particular feel, to get the, could do it like into a double time, like I did a thing on Fools Rush In, to give you an example to play the double time. That was the sound you got by doubling the pick, and you actually didn't have to use the finger pick. And to get it, you could, if you used the finger pick, you could get actually a different sound with the echo feel. You get that sound with the pick and the finger pick, straight pick. The background on Traveling Man was very similar to Poor Little Fool with that same sound. I'll demonstrate that. Same idea, same feel. I didn't use any effects on Hello Mary Lou. It was just, again, it was my style of playing with the straight pick and the finger pick, and very similar style to the Chet style. And it's more of a blues and more of a country feel together. And I'll demonstrate that solo for you. Basically, the rhythm was a very similar rhythm on Hello Mary Lou too, by the way. But I'll demonstrate the solo for you. I think as far as that particular solo, the influences would probably be from a lot of guitar players that like to play that particular style. I think it had a big influence in the country market. When you're playing that particular style, like the Hello Mary Lou style with the finger pick and the straight pick, to give an example, I can slow it down for you, how you have your up beats with your finger pick and your down beats with your straight pick. And to give an example. So that's an example at a very slow speed with the straight pick and the finger pick. And if you'll notice, a couple of times I would throw in a couple of little extra notes which would choke in the strings and which would create sort of a chicken picking sound, and with the slur of the notes and the bends. And that's my very basic style of playing, that particular way. I would like to demonstrate the solo on Traveling Man with a little accompaniment on rhythm guitar, and here's the example. I'll start out the rhythm, and then I'll go into the actual solo. So that's it. That's the example of the solo for Traveling Man. And now I would like to give an example of the rhythm and the solo on Fools Rush In. So here's an example of that. There you have Fools Rush In. So I'm sure you'll notice by now that I'm playing a different guitar. And this guitar was given to me by Fender when I went to work with Elvis Presley. And I love this guitar, it plays great, and I'd like to give you some examples of what it sounds like and some licks on this guitar. One of my particular styles that I like to play is, it's called chicken picking style, and which I created at a very early age, and I'd like to demonstrate some of that for you and play it. Maybe, of course, the single string picking, chicken picking, it's very similar to this. So if you'll notice that's only a one string, like a double time chicken picking. Okay, so in order to do that with two strings, you play the very basic similar style, only you choke your strings as well as play them open. And the example of that. When I like to bend strings, when I'm bending, when I bend, just basic bends for me would be pushing up. When you play in country bends, to give an example, is pretty much straight ahead, pretty much straight on. To give an example of a country bend, that's pretty much straight ahead for a country bend. In order to play the blues bands, to me, it's a little more soul, a little more involved, which, to give an example, the same idea. I use some vibrato. When I'm playing bends, I do use some vibrato. That it depends on the style of music. If it's country music, I do use very little. But to give an example, well, I like to, you know, bend in a lot of strings and everything, and I also like, the Telecaster is a very good instrument for playing. I don't know if you like to play behind the nut a lot, but I do, getting into playing a lot of different styles. To give an example, for country or blues, you can use it as an effect, or you can just play you know, put the notes into your basic melody. To give an example, so an example of that, very slow, it's a lot like banjo bends, banjo keys, and I would, to give you an example of that real slow. When I'm playing in the key of G, I'll use the nut a lot, and even sometimes an E. But for blues, I'll just be playing, to give you an example, I'll use it a lot playing blues. Okay, that last little lick I played there at the end of that little blues lick, the harmonics, give an example, very slow. I would like to talk a little more about some string bending and give you a few examples. There's a lot of licks I play where I'm just walking up the neck, and it's just like a real squirrely bend off of two strings. So to give you an example of that, here it is. So, example one, for instance, I recorded a song with Merle Haggard called The Lonesome Fugitive, and what I'd like to do is show you how I played the bends on two strings, but actually starting on the pitch of the string and bending down to the note that I was within the melody of the song. So to give an example, I'd like to show you that. So to talk about that, I would like to show you an example of playing that at a very slow speed. Playing Merle's songs were very musical to me, and the melodies, very pretty melodies. And I used a lot of chicken picking with Merle as well. I'd like to give an example of one tune I did with Merle called The Bottle Let Me Down, and this particular song, I turned my E string down to a D. tuned down. So I'd like to go ahead and do that now to give an example. So to give an example of that, the lick I actually played on that tune, I'll demonstrate the last half of the solo to show you exactly what I did. So that was Ballad Let Me Down. I would like to give you a little bit slower. I added a little bit of chicken picking to the last few notes of that, if you'll notice. So I'd like to give you an example of that. It's slower. Okay, with actually using and playing in the key of D with the E string tuned down to a D, you have a lot of advantages in playing. You can play melodies with the E string tuned down to a D. And actually, to give an example, here's something I like to show you. So now I'd like to show you with the E string is tuned up, back to the E. And what I'd like to show you is that if you're playing a run in the key of D and you would like to walk down, then you could turn it down to the D position while you're playing. So I'd like to show you that. Well, I would like to talk about when I was with Emmylou Harris, you know, some bends, whole tone bends and half tone bends, doing ballad tunes. And I could probably show you some examples of those, which I'll do now. It was a very, very sweet sound. So to give you an idea of the whole tone, I'll just give you an example here. I would like to give you an example of a song, Too Far Gone, I recorded with Emmylou Harris. And to give you an example with rhythm guitar, I'd like to show you this. With this song, Too Far Gone, with Emmylou Harris, I would like to show you an example. For instance, I'm playing very slow bends, and I'll show you this example with the rhythm guitar. I would like to break that solo down for you on the first half and show you how smooth and very soft within the bends, the halftone bends, also playing off the octave string. So I would like to break that down for you on the first half. So that's breakdown through the whole solo, and if you notice on the last half of the solo, I went into playing the key changes, which allowed me to play whole tone notes as well, which to the B7 and into the G chord. So if you would like for me to show you that again, I would like to do that very slow for the last half. I would like to show you my new Telecaster. It's my signature model, and it's a Paisley. It's a black and gold Paisley, and it has a 3 pickup setup, and the pickups are lace sensor, and it has a 5-way switch, American Standard bridge, and very simple, very lightweight, and has a great neck, a satin neck, and it plays great. Nice small neck, and very fast action. So what I'd like to talk about my strings a little bit. I used to use banjo strings when I went to work with Ricky Nelson, and my banjo strings were set up as the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string banjo strings. And for the 5th and 6th string, I used a regular guitar string in 4th and 5th. So as later on in years, I had those strings gauged, and I came up with my own gauge, which is a 9, 10, 12, 24, 32, 38. And that 1st string is a 9, 2nd string is a 10, 3rd string is a 12, the 4th string is a 24, the 5th string is a 32, and the 6th string is a 38. And it's very evenly gauged, and it plays very good for blues and country music as well. So to give an example. So playing this guitar, it has very fast action, and it has a very good feeling neck. And I would like to show you some hot cross finger licks off of 3 strings at a time. And to give an example, here's the first one. So that's just a run that I use in a lot of rock and roll, just playing off of rock and roll solos, and I'll play that slow for you to give an example. That's at a very slow speed, and I'll show you how at a faster speed how it works. That's how it works at a faster speed. And for a key change, I'll show you one in the key of G. That you can play fast or slow, and I'll give you an example of the fast one. So that's an example of just a cross fingering in the key of G. And to slow that down for you, that's at a slow speed. And I'll play that faster for you again to give you an example. Now I would like to show you some licks in the key of E. At like a very slow, the first one to give you an example would be like without the echo effect, just a straight run in the key of E. Just a straight run in the key of E. And to give you the echo effect in the same key. At a slow speed. Now just play it straight. I would like to give you an example of the sounds of the pickups, and this rhythm pickup, which I'm in the position now, to give you an idea, here's what it sounds like. So that's the rhythm pickup, and I'll give you the next position. That's out of phase sound for rhythm and lead as well. And to give you the middle pickup, I'd like to show you what that sounds like. It's wired basically like the original Telecaster, the rhythm pickup and the lead pickup. So to give you the next sound is in the out of phase lead pickup. Okay, to give you the lead pickup now. There you have, 5-way switch, 3 pickup tele, signature model. I would like to talk a little bit about, actually we talked about it and I gave a few examples earlier about the Elvis sounds and with the echo rhythm sounds and playing the bass string with the straight pick and playing the lead with your finger pick. So in keeping the funky sound with the rhythm sounds all at once. So I would like to probably give you a little example of that right now, and here it is. I would like to slow that down and show you what it's like to much slower speed. Well, I'd like to say the old clock on the wall is telling me the time's about run out. And I would like to thank you very much for joining me today in my first instructional video. And I hope that you got something out of it and something that I could give to you. And I would like to say that it's really been a pleasure for me, and I hope that you'll write in and ask for any special thing you would like to hear from me at any later date, and hopefully for the next video that I would like to give actually an example of something that I plan to do for the next video, and it's featuring a lot of Elvis music, and to give you that. And I want to just tell you how much I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you.